Hi, my name is Flynn Boardman-Raffet. I'm a 6'5" guard from Richmond, London, England.
It's Boardman-Raffet! Spinning and spinning and snapping and finishing. Flynn Boardman-Raffet!
I mean, for me personally, when I started, I mean, when I was born, I was always playing football. Like, it was never basketball for me. Like, from the age of, I can't remember, till 13, I was in love with football, and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a Premier League footballer, like everyone else in the UK. How I got into it basically was, like I said before, I was playing football. I was playing Sunday League for Barnes Eagles, which is just like my local Sunday League team. And one of my mates at school, he basically just said, "Oh mate, there's a basketball trial for this club called Richmond Knights, and it's just like kind of like local CVO, not National League, not anything crazy, like under 12s team, under 13s team." And I was like, "Oh mate, I'm sorry, I've got a Sunday League game." So I would have loved to have come, but obviously I've committed to that, so I can't. Morning of the game, Mum wakes me up and she's like, "Oh, it's waterlogged, like it's been raining all night, so game's cancelled." And then I was like, well, I've got to do something with my day. So I messaged my mate back and I was like, "What time's that trial?" And he was like, "Oh, it's at like, I don't know, 11, 12, I don't know." But I was like, "Do you reckon I can still come?" And he was like, "Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not, you just rock up." Anyway, I went with him and I had an absolute blast. And I ended up making the team. And it was like, at that point, I almost wasn't going to try out. For me, it was just like, I just want to go and play and have fun. And then from there, I was able to, for about a year, kind of play both. And that's when it was like, once I'd first got into kind of the organised, a few weeks had gone by, a few months had gone by of like organised basketball, I was like, I think this is what I want to do. So I ended up playing both for a while, but that's how I kind of got into it. I had a great time at Richmond Knights. We travelled, we played, obviously we travelled over the country. I ended up making the National League team when I was 14 or 13, 14. When I was 15, I ended up playing men's with Coach Isaac. And I think that age group was when I was like, that was my first kind of taste of what kind of proper competitive basketball was, because I mean, we were playing competitively in the other leagues, but it was against my own age group. But when I started playing against men when I was 15 and I wasn't fully developed yet, that's when I was like, right, I'm struggling, but I love it. Like I love the competition. I'm naturally a very competitive person, so around 15 was when I was like, right, I know I'm coming up to the end of GCSEs, I'm gonna have to make it, because I played at Christ's, which was my secondary school, and again, that was a great time, but I knew that the setups in terms of the next level for my age group were the academies, the ABL, and I wasn't a player that had prep school looks here and prep school. I didn't have that interest, so I knew I wanted to go to an academy, and there was a handful of academies when I was around 15 that I kind of wanted to go to, and I visited some, but then when I spoke to Coach Lloyd and Coach James Veer and went and visited, I was actually playing against Barking's like Division 4 team at the time, because that was the men's league I was playing in, and when we went there, it was a funny story because we kind of made that into kind of like a little visit for me. And I was playing against James Veer, and he'll hate me saying this, but it was the first time I'd played against him as a coach, and he was interested in me coming to Barking, but he got ejected the game we went there. So he was kind of just like, it was just so funny, and I always tell him all the time, but once I went there and I kind of saw the setup, I loved it, and I loved the challenge of it. When I was speaking to both James and Lloyd, they both said, like, you're not going to come here, we're not going to guarantee you minutes, we're not going to kind of promise you anything. You're going to, if you want, we're interested in you coming here, but you've got to prove yourself, you've got to work hard for the opportunity. We're not just going to, nothing's just a handout here, which for me was what I was looking for. A lot of other people want that security, want that kind of like safety blanket and promises, but for me, I just wanted a place where I could go and be given an opportunity to work hard and kind of prove myself. So the second I went there, I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be.
Yeah, my first impression of Flynn, when he walked through the door, this little chubby kid at Christ session, saying he wants to play basketball. My first impression was like, he's not serious, he's just coming there for a joke. But yeah, after the first session, a few weeks down the line, he was still coming. So I was like, okay, this kid's kind of serious and he's got, he could play a little bit. But what I loved about the first time I saw him was he was coachable. He listened well, he worked hard, he got to everything really quickly. And when kids are like that, the first time you see them, you know that they're great kids and they wanna be at that level. So yeah, in our first session, he didn't do anything with the basketball. I think he still hates me to this moment. Did a lot of running, a lot of jumping, just a lot of crazy things to try to see. For me, I wanted to see where he was at mentally. He puked, he was tired, but he didn't give up. He didn't stop. He carried on going. In that moment for me, the first session is always a tough one. It's a make or break, and that's kind of the moment that I was like, okay, he can do something if he puts his mind to it. Till this day, he still comes to the gym here, work out. So, he calls me every week when he needs me. So to be in his life in that type of manner is incredible. And now to see him achieve the goals that we spoke about for 7 years, he always told me, I want to make it professional, And I'm like, this guy's crazy. But when a kid says that and truly believe it, you gotta be there with them and guide them. And if they make it, it's amazing. So just being there with him every moment of the way, even up to a point before he decided that he was gonna play for Leicester, he called me, he said, I got this look, what do you think? So to be in a position that he values my input before every decision, it means a lot to me. And I'm just proud of him, crazy proud of him, because I know he worked so hard for that. A lot of kids do not know how hard, a lot of people do not know how hard Flynn worked to be a professional player. And that's why he's doing what he's doing now. And shout out to Leicester for giving him, and Coach Rob for giving him all the opportunity right now. Flynn's story speaks volumes, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, the first time we played Hoop Fix, people knew him because he was a Hoop Fix All-Star with Barking Abbey, but I think that was his second year coming back from Canada, and he tore up Hoop Fix. That's when everyone started to kind of like say, oh, okay, Flynn, who's this guy who can really play? But prior to that, no one really knew Flynn because, he wasn't talked about. He wasn't one of those players that was shining all the time on Hoop Fix or all these platforms, And I will refer to it, and I know he doesn't like it or he doesn't want me to, but Flynn was a big kid. He was out of shape, and he sacrificed everything, watched his weight, watched his food, strength and conditioning in the gym. And, I think that's a story in itself, from a big kid to being a professional player, that's a story in itself, And I think there's a lot of kids out there that be like, oh, that coaches will say, oh, you're this, you're that, you don't have it. But if you see Flynn's story and understand or find out what he does or what he did to get to where he is, anyone can make it. I truly believe any kid can make it pro if they put their mindset similar to Flynn and they're just ready to sacrifice a lot.
Going in against Lenton Brown, getting some help, triple team, Boardman-Raffet, wide open for three! 13 raises the 3 fingers and says that was a triple.
Initially, I wasn't even thinking about Canada because I didn't even know Canada kind of had a college system, because like majority of the kids who play basketball here, they want to go to the States to play. So I emailed every school in the States with my tape, with guys don't even email now, but like I was emailing every school. I'd sit for hours on my laptop and compose these long emails and highlight tapes and send them everywhere, and didn't really get anything back. Initially, James said a few people, but my Canadian coach started watching some of our games, and he liked my teammate. So he watched a bunch of our games, and slowly, this is what he told me, slowly he was like, actually, I kind of like how Flynn plays, and I like kind of what he can bring to a team. So from there, that was kind of my first concrete offer. I didn't get any offers from the States, D2, D3, D1, I didn't get anything. I had the best time in Canada ever. I've made lifelong friends and I had an amazing basketball experience. St. John's in Newfoundland is very different to London. So for me, it was kind of just, I think I remember my flight, I had to fly to Toronto and then there. And then I got in the middle of the night and I woke up the next day and I was just like, holy, like where am I? So it was definitely, but again, the people over there are just so welcoming and just made it so easy for me to adjust. If I needed anything, they'd drive me anywhere, they'd pick me up, like they were just so kind. Once I started playing, I knew it was fine. Initially I was kind of like, you kind of get the wobble when you first land there, you're like, I don't know where I am, and you kind of start, but then I started playing, I met my teammates, and once we got into the swing of training and games, it was just kind of like, it just clicked. But it was definitely an adjustment. It took me a few months to finally get my rhythm. In the second half of the season, that's when in the first year, I started picking up form, and then I ended up starting, and we ended up having a good playoff run in my first year. But after that first year had been concluded, which went so quick, I kind of knew, I was like, yeah, this is going to be 4 years of good level. Initially coming off my third year, so my second last year, there was a few guys leaving. For me, the main thing was trying to make sure I was healthy the whole time. I ended up putting up good numbers, but for me it was kind of just trying not to focus on what was next after my fourth year, because I knew in my fourth year it was coming to an end, and the plan for me was always to graduate, and once I graduate, try and achieve the dream of playing professionally. So yeah, the fourth year was great. We started off the year really well. I think at Christmas, so the way it works in Canada is we play 20 regular season games, 10 of them before Christmas and then 10 after, and then playoffs. So I think at the break we were second in the conference. We were 8-2. I think I was leading the country in scoring, so it was a massive high for us. And going into the break, it was great. And then after the break, it kind of just dipped. Like I don't know if teams were starting to figure us out or not, but we really kind of had a dip of form, and then we started to pick it back up at the end of the season, which was good. But yeah, going into playoffs, we didn't win, which was the goal. So that was definitely upsetting. But like I said, it was looking back at it, some of the best times, and you don't really appreciate it until it's over. But when I graduated at the end of May, I looked back and I was like, kind of all hit me at once. I had once you're in it, you're just so like focused on what's next in terms of school, basketball, whatever. But when it was all over and I was moving back and packing up my stuff, I was just like, I was so grateful for the time I had there and the friends I'd made there, and having a coach that trusted me to play and give me an opportunity. So I think I was really lucky of going over there. I went to Toronto in Canada to do a training camp with the Brampton Honey Badgers, and that was kind of my first taste into professional basketball, because I knew that for me there was a possibility that I could either go to the States and try and go to D1, because I had another year of eligibility over there, or go pro. So it was kind of just getting, like sort of the time at BA, compiling a highlight tape, sending it to different coaches. I reached out to different people, and I had a lot of different people help me out. Carl English, who played many years as a pro, he helped a lot with kind of helping me make a decision. I'd ask him constantly for advice and would constantly ask him questions about the process. And then when I got to Brampton for the little training camp, it was always just going to be a training camp. That was when I first started training with a professional team, training with guys that had played in the NBA, guys that had played at high levels in Asia and Europe. So that was kind of my first taste of what that step would look like. And then when I ended up coming home after my graduation, Coach Will, who's an assistant here, reached out about GB 3-on-3, which is what I was doing, which I'd done previously in the COVID year, but it was my last year to do it. So he was saying there was a tour coming up, a few tours coming up, and would I be interested in potentially representing GB for 3-on-3? So I was like, of course, any chance you can represent your national team is, for me, it's always been, again, another dream of mine. So once we kind of started spending time together with that, that's when he started getting into my ear, and you, to be fair, getting into my ear about maybe potentially Leicester and about coming back to the SLB to play. And me and my agent said that would be potentially an option, but we wanted to explore everything before I made a decision. So we looked into Europe, trying to use my French passport to kind of see what was out there, and there wasn't any. There was a few looks, but when Coach Rob reached out and I had a good chat with Coach Rob, I just got a feeling that I thought this would be the right place for my first year, and also coming back to the UK to play closer to family, friends, and have that whole experience was also just amazing for them to come and watch games when they haven't been able to for 4 years. Has definitely been amazing. So, but yeah, the goals haven't changed from the beginning of the year, is to try and win silverware and trophies. That's why we play. From a personal standpoint, I just wanted to. I knew it would potentially take me a few months to again adjust to another level, but now that those few months have come up, I just really want to kind of continue taking every opportunity I get, and trying to be as consistent as possible, and just be a good teammate on and off the court. For me, I think trying to bring those things to the team, those little things, will help us eventually try and pick up some good form and win. But yeah, just try and be kind of the best, most consistent, efficient player I can, and kind of just, like I said before, be a good teammate. So.